Hey everyone, Audrey Rozier here. I'm a real estate agent licensed in Maryland and Virginia, and after nearly a decade in this business, I've learned that what scales your real estate career isn't always what gets you started. Let's talk about cold calling. Now, I cold called on and off for the first couple years in my business. I went to different trainings, practiced the scripts, tried to get over the fear of hearing no. And while I did pick up some leads from it, I knew long term that that wasn't for me. It's not how I wanted to build my business personally. However, there are people that thrive off cold calling, but I realized early on that I needed something more sustainable, something that I could scale and systematize and eventually delegate. So if you're a few years in and you're still glued to your dialer and wondering if there's a better way, there is. And I'm going to break it down in this video. So first, let's start with what I did instead of cold calling. The shift happened when I focused on attraction-based lead generation. And for me, that started with content. Now, I invested time into Instagram and YouTube. I tried not to overthink it, and I tried to show up consistently, shared what I knew, and positioned myself as the go-to expert. Now, my content wasn't always perfect, but I did my best to try to make it real, and it did speak to the people that I wanted it to speak to. The more I leaned into content, the more the leads started to come to me. They didn't all come at once, of course, but I did realize that what I was doing was working. And more importantly, it was working while I wasn't actively chasing people down. So leads were coming in while I was asleep. There were booked calls in my calendars while I was at different appointments. It worked well. I also started building systems behind the scenes. That's when I really saw my business shift. I use a CRM called Follow Up Boss. It's where I organize every lead, detail, tag, and conversation. I do log in daily, and so does my virtual assistant. Every task, every follow-up, every email or text is tracked inside that CRM. And it's not about being like super fancy or anything. It's just about being consistent. Now, I pay extra for the dialer in there so I can track all my calls without using my personal number. And when I make a call, it logs it automatically. I also take notes right in that same system. My virtual assistant can pick up where I left off if needed. And because I built this out slowly, not all at once, it was very much one task at a time. Personally, I didn't get overwhelmed. I just focused on what I needed help with that day, created a system for it, and moved on. Here's the thing that I feel like nobody really talks about. You can't scale with chaos. So if you're waking up every day just reacting to your business instead of running it with intention, you're always going to feel behind. Cold calling kept me in a reactive space. I was always on, always chasing, and never able to actually fully build out the back end. So when I took that time back and I invested it into my content and systems, my business didn't just grow, it stabilized too. It also gave me the room to think like a CEO. If you're thinking, I don't have time to build all that out, you're not wrong, honestly. You probably don't have the time at the moment, but you don't have to do it all alone. Hiring my first virtual assistant was one of the best things that I ever did. Personally now, I have multiple, and I've trained one of my virtual assistants to handle follow-ups, draft CMAs, manage email templates, organize tags, and track client timelines. Everything is in my CRM, so she's never guessing what to do next. And if you don't know where to start with hiring a virtual assistant, I actually have a guide that walks you through the entire process, step by step. It's not free, but it is affordable, and it'll save you hours of trying to figure this all out by yourself. So here's what I would do if I was starting again. I would still try to do cold calling. I don't regret cold calling, but only to get practice with the scripts, rejection, and talking to people. That experience was valuable, but I wouldn't stay there too long, right? So I'd focus on content, build one platform at a time, YouTube or Instagram, and be consistent, give value, show up. Then I'd get my CRM in place early. Even if I didn't have leads yet, the sooner you create systems, the easier everything becomes later. And once I felt overwhelmed with tasks, I'd hire the help. Even if it's just 5 to 10 hours a week, you can start small, but you have to start somewhere. You don't need to be on the phone all day to scale your business. You do need a system though, a strategy, and a willingness to build something sustainable. That's all I have for today's video. Whether you're looking to hire a virtual assistant, set up your back end, or just get serious about content, I've got the resources that can help. You can download my virtual assistant hiring guide, check out my Etsy shop with agent templates, or you can book a one-on-one session with me if you want direct support. All of that is linked in the description below. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I will see you on the next one.